Today we will be discussing the ADDIE model, and it'll be presented by yours truly, Shane G. Manimo. ADDIE model. ADDIE stands for Analyze, Design, Develop, Implement, and Evaluate. The ADDIE model is used by training developers and instructional designers to plan and create an effective learning experiences. So these are the topics that we will later tackle on. First is who created ADDIE model, and we will discuss one by one the analysis, the design, the development, implementation, and evaluation, and the model's advantages and disadvantages. So first, who created the ADDIE model? The concept was created in 1975 by the Center of Educational Technology at Florida State University for the U.S. Army. So first in the ADDIE model is the analysis phase. In the analysis phase, we are clarifying the instructional problem. Then the instructional goals and the instructional objectives will establish. Next, we are identifying the learner existing knowledge, the learning environment, and the skill identity. This is the initial step and a very important step. Here we are gathering a number of information on the problem statement. While working on the analysis phase, we need to work on the questions below. First, who will be the audience? What are the characteristics of the audience? How do we need to identify the new behavioral outcome? What are the different types of learning constraints exist? What are the different types of learning constraints not exist? What are the different types of delivery options? Which are the different online pedagogical considerations available? And how much time will it need to complete the project completion? In the design phase, in the second phase, there are multiple aspects that we need to consider while working on the design phase. We need to consider the steps, the exercise, the media selection, the content, the assessment instruments, the lesson planning, the subject matter analysis, and learning the objectives, and etc. etc. The design phase should be systematic and specific. In other words, the systematic steps means it should be identifying the correct order method, proper logical format, and good developing strategies and the evaluating set of planned strategies. These design steps will help to meet the project goals. In the design phase, the specific means of each of the steps or the elements in the design phase should be executed with proper attention to the detailed steps. Below are the list of steps that will involved in the design phase. First is that we need to detail the visual of the project, documentation of the project instructional, detailed technical and design plan, and etc. We need to apply the instructional strategies based on the intended behavioral outcomes, and with the help of the domain, and also consider the psychomotor, cognitive, and affective things that our students have. Then we need to create the storyboards. Next, we need to design the user experience and the user interface. In addition to that, we need to create a detailed prototype. Lastly, we need to apply the proper visual design, so it will include graphic design also. In the next stage, the development phase. In this phase, we are doing the actual development of the project. Here, the developer will create and assemble the project components as per the design stage. Then, the developer will work on the development and/or the technology's integration. In this phase, the storyboards are created, content is written, and graphics are designed. If learning is involved, programmers look to develop and/or integrate technologies. The next step is the implement phase. In the implementation phase, we need to work on the procedure for the training and the learner's development. We need to cover the course curriculum method of delivery, the learning outcomes, the testing procedure steps, and etc. Here we are implementing the detailed solution on top of the project's use case. We need to make sure that all the requirements should be frozen and meet the entire requirement. The last but not the least phase is the evaluation phase. In the evaluation phase, there are two major parts like the formative and the summative. In the evaluation phase, the formative evaluation is the first stage and it will be present at each stage of the ADDIE process. In the second summative evaluation stage, we are taking the feedback from the end users. The evaluation objectives reflects much on the discoveries found in the analysis process. These discoveries include the objectives and the expectations of the learner. So, what are the advantages and disadvantages of the ADDIE model? First, we will tackle about the advantages. First is that the ADDIE model is flexible. The ADDIE model, we are getting more flexibility to the work. Next is that it is easily modifiable. In the ADDIE model, we can easily modify the changes. And lastly, it is used in other or different models. We also easily use the same ADDIE model in the different models. On the other hand, we have the disadvantages. The first is that ADDIE model is linear. We are having a number of phases in it. Every phase is having its dependency on the previous phase. Second, it is too detailed. The method, the planning, and the process are too much detailed and lengthy. The last, it is time-consuming. It will consume a huge amount of time for building the project with the help of the ADDIE model. In conclusion to that, we have seen the uncut concept of the ADDIE model. The ADDIE model, again, is used by the training developers and the instructional designers. That'll be all. Thank you.